Hello there, everyone. My name is Mason McLeod. I'm one of your classmates in MBA 621, Sustainable Ethical Leadership. I'm going to be doing my leadership spotlight presentation on John Allison, the former CEO of BB&T. So just some quick context of the company itself. BB&T stands for Branch Banking and Trust. It's actually now going to be Truist as of December 2019 when they merged with SunTrust. It's founded in 1872, so it's been around for a while, renamed to BB&T in 1913, 10th largest financial institution. That means over $230 billion in assets, over 1,700 locations, including a few in Ohio. Led by John Allison from 1989 until 2019. He's actually one who brought the assets from $4.5 billion in 1989 to over $152 billion. There's his face. He was born in 1948 in Charlotte, North Carolina. BB&T is headquartered in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He was affiliated since 1971 when he graduated with his MBA degree. He was the president and CEO of the Cato Institute from 2012 to 2015, and he's currently the Wake Forest University School of Business executive in residence. He's also authored 2 books, The Leadership Crisis and the Free Market Cure, Why the Future of Business Depends on the Return of Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness, and The Financial Crisis and the Free Market Cure, Why Pure Capitalism is the World Economy's Only Hope. But we're talking about the ethical dilemma that he had to deal with. And this was one that preceded the financial crisis. There was a lot of lending based on subprime mortgages, which are mortgages sold to those who have those subprime credit scores. A specific subtype of that is a negative amortization loan. I'm not an economist, so the gist of it is here on the slide. It's paying less than the interest on a loan. So that means month to month, your balance actually increases because you aren't even paying off the full interest. This was profitable at the time to sell because there was a high demand for them. Who wouldn't want to, potentially, if this was valid, get lower payments even if your credit isn't that great? And plenty of BB&T's competitors were offering these loans. So when it came to what the dilemma was here, it's obviously, should BB&T under John Allison be selling these loans? Now, the risks were clear, right? There's a risk to the customer. These are loans where your balance is actually increasing, so it's really based on the fact that you would have the money in the future to be able to pay off your larger mortgage payments. And then there's a risk to the reputation of BB&T if these turn out to be too risky and they would lose the trust and confidence of their customers. So while it'd be a potential loss of business, because if they don't sell these, the customers would go to other competitors, there was also their short-term profitability to take into account. Should BB&T be focused on what's going to benefit their bottom line for that moment? Now, this quote is from the interview that John Allison did in 2011 with Kaizen, which is the publication for the Center of Ethics and Entrepreneurship at Rockford University. And here he's highlighting one of the ways that he was attempting to resolve this, the trader principle, that he really viewed that you have to exchange value for value in business and in life. You need to see what your moral obligations are based on what the specific context of the situation is. So that's in a business transaction to help the customer be successful and for the customer to buy what you're selling, thereby making your company a profit. The resolution of this was to, in the end, avoid selling these subprime or negative amortization loans. An additional quote from that Kaizen interview really highlights one of the reasons why he came to this decision. He really viewed it as a question of the nature of self-destructive actions. So the customers who are seeking these loans weren't really thinking perhaps about the long-term risks of the loan. And if they went to other companies to purchase one of these loans, they were really seeking out those negative consequences. And John Allison did not want anything to do with that self-destructive action. And this is really based on rights theory, how he came to this conclusion. It's not covered much in the Wick's business ethics book that we have, but it's touched on a bit in character ethics in the fact that this is based on agents primarily and the rights that these agents have, but it has some aspects of looking at actions and looking at ends as well. He was really thinking what's the right of the customer? Well, the right of the customer is not to be lied to. So it's the obligation of BB&T not to lie to the customer. And as well, honesty is the obligation of BB&T, because otherwise they would just not be dealing with reality. They'd be trying to fake it out. That kind of goes with these two quotes, which I consider the two key takeaways. The first quote is from Resident Leader, actually. Leadership is a conscious process. That's kind of what I think the connection to resident leadership is in all of this. John Allison, as a CEO, was really focused on what is the purpose of his business, what are the principles his business operates on, and how do you apply those to specific situations. And he goes into this in this further quote from the interview with Kaizen, where he focuses. I'm not going to read the whole quote, that's bad form in a PowerPoint presentation. But he goes into how his number one value is being rational, which is really using logic to suss out what the facts are, not evading the facts, and focusing on what you need to do to be the best business you can be in any situation. So these are my references. I really focused on the Kaizen interview, as well as some economic definitions I had to suss out, as well as, of course, making sure that I applied some of the information from Resident Leader, as well as our business ethics expert. That's all from me. I really look forward to watching all of your presentations as well. Thanks.